Let's put the spotlight on VGuard as well. Ramachandran is the COO now joining in on the show to discuss their quarterly performance. Good to have you on board. To begin with, the company did manage to sustain double-digit growth. So the question is for FY24, do you think that this double-digit growth will continue? Are the demand trends supportive?
I think the demand environment continues to be challenging, right? Particularly for the consumer durable segment or the appliances segment. So I think the retail demand is challenging. I think overall, the B2B type of demand continues to remain strong on the back of I think significant investments which are probably happening, in the infrastructure side. But consumer demand is challenging. I think you would have seen the results of a couple of kitchen companies. You would have seen results of some beer companies. I think consumer demand side is a bit stressful. I think we have done all right. I think at an aggregate level, we have grown at about 15%. Some of that is also because of the Sunflame acquisition, Sunflame not being in the past period. But still, I think the underlying growth at about 9%, is more moderate compared to what we would have liked, and this is in some sense, reflecting the underlying weakness in consumer demand.
Could you also share with us that how the demand trend this festive season is so far moved?
So I think one thing that must be borne in mind that the Q2 numbers, particularly I think this is important to consider, for the consumer durable segment. I think a bit of the weakness is also coming because this time the festive period is, the Diwali is coming in November, right? So the entire festive calendar is moved a bit forward. So to some extent, that is also reflected in the September sales, right? So I think last year, second half of September and October would have seen the impact of the festive period, right? Whereas probably this year, it may be, the later part of October and the early part of November. So I think in part, that is also contributing to this, but there is also, some amount of underlying, weakness in consumer demand. So some of it is in the festive period.
So where is it that you're seeing more weakness in terms of which segments?
So I think the electrical side and the electronic side is fine. I think it's more in the consumer durable side, where we are seeing a bit more weakness. On the electrical side, if you look at but there has been some copper prices have come down slightly, so there is some impact on wire sales, because of downstocking. So I would say that at an aggregate level, the electronics and electrical demand has been okay. I think it is the consumer durable, which is and the kitchen, which is impacted because of demand compression. More like fan, water heater, and some of these signs were have been visible for a couple of quarters now. So it's not a new phenomena that I'm talking about. It's just that maybe it's reflecting a bit more in the current quarter.
So how is the growth in the rural markets? Are you seeing recovery in any of these markets?
No, I think obviously the premium end of the market is holding out quite all right. I think the pressure is mainly being felt in mid market and in the entry level and probably small town rural. Right? So it's more it's the discretionary consumption which is impacted, and it is impacted more in segments which are what I would say a bit more price sensitive. Whereas when you look at the top end of the market, I think that is holding pretty fine, right? And this is cutting across channel also, right? Even in e-commerce, I think it has been slow till the festive period has started, right? So the not the what I would say the shopping festive period has started, right? So before that, even that segment was under pressure. Yeah.
Right, and finally, you have further increased stake as well in the Gagadine Energy Labs. Will they be further increasing stake, and when will the company start to see the leverage and the benefit of this?
Gigadine is a next generation battery technology company. It's an R&D company presently, and they're fundamentally, working on developing the battery technology and making it competitive in terms of, relevant performance parameters, right? To make them, first choice for a wide range of applications, because each application has unique needs and characteristics, and also be cost competitive. Yeah? I think the technology has its own advantages, and I think the company. I'm happy to say that the company is progressing. Is on course of creating necessary performance improvements in the battery to make it competitive. This is still work in progress. Yeah, I think we will be ready to leverage this technology for our business benefit. Only when this technology is ready to be commercialized, which is the next stage of development. I think this startup is now engaged in looking for moving into the next stage, which is manufacturing, right? So I think commercializing this technology is some time away, maybe another 12 to 24 months. I think it's post that we would be able to leverage this for the VGuard business growth.
All right. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining in and giving us that perspective.